especially as Ghanaians continue to suffer from extreme hardship. Right Honorable Speaker, I believe that posterity will surely vindicate our warnings regarding the reckless borrowings and economic mismanagement under the President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia's government. Records available to this House shows clearly that, Mr. Speaker, some individuals in government profited to the tune of $159.3 million in transaction advisory fees, whilst the country was saddled with an unsustainable public debt. We also spoke out against the mismanagement of the central bank, which led to the negative equity of $55.1 billion Ghana cedis in 2022, and a cumulative loss of 71.3 billion Ghana cedis between 2022 and 2023. Mr. Speaker, as a result, the Bank of Ghana became policy insolvent by end of year 2023. Mr. Speaker, the illegal printing of money at the Bank of Ghana to finance government expenditure contributed to the inflationary crisis we saw. That resulted in over 850,000 Ghanaians falling into extreme poverty. Mr. Speaker, the management of the central bank also illegally wrote off approximately 48 billion Ghana cedis of government indebtedness without parliamentary approval, in a blatant disregard to the Public Financial Management Act at 921. Right Honorable Speaker, at the height of this crisis, the management of the central bank supervised the award of questionable contracts for the construction of an ultra-modern 250 million head office and another ultra-modern governor's residence at a cost that is unknown to the public. Our concerns, Mr. Speaker, about the mismanagement of the state-owned Ghana Cocoa Board, ECG, GIHOC, STC, PBC, among others, were also ignored. Right Honorable Speaker, for 7 consecutive years, Ghana Cocoa Board recorded losses of approximately 11 billion Ghana cedis. The cocoa production also declined drastically under the current government, from approximately 1 million metric tons a year in production to now almost 400,000 in indicated loan to finance the purchase of Ghana cocoa. Right Honorable Speaker, we cannot be silent about our opposition to yet another unpopular government policy, the imposition of a regulation called the Import Restriction Regulation 2023. This detested proposed legislative instrument sought to vest unfettered and unambiguous Finance Ministry SML induced $100 million a year contract for so-called revenue assurance. After initial feet dragging and refusal by the President Akufo-Addo to release the KPMG, SML was pleased for no work done. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ghana Revenue Authority further failed to withhold taxes worth 13.38 billion million Ghana cedis from these payments. As we speak, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the entity called SML concerns over the government handling of illegal mine maintenance that engulf our nation. We are also on record to have cautioned that its pretentious fight against this existential threat to our collective survival will soon have a dire princess. NPP functionaries were accused by the then cabinet minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng, of promoting and engaging in illegal mining. NSA later became a free-for-all enterprise involving MMDCs and other party functionaries. The records will bear us out that we on this side to this menace found on strict application to the law. No matter whose ox is God. Right, Honorable Speaker, again, our concerns were ignored. The scale of corruption and waste during this period has been staggering. The more corruption and wastage festered. Promoting this as a result prompted the Catholic Bishop Conference to decry and describe the situation as a massive, uncontrolled corruption under this administration. The Speaker, scandals became a daily occurrence as we were treated with abuse of office and plundered the public funds. Right Honorable Speaker is the 13th African Game. The 500 million Ghana cedis National Service Ghost Names scandal. We saw the brazen attempt to shell out state hotels to a cabinet minister and free for all grabbing of state revenue. We also had to contend with the erosion of the independence of critical state institutions. Many of these institutions were filled with partisan elements who undermined due process to please the regime in power. So, Speaker, journalists who exposed corruptions were subjected to brutal crackdown and dissenting voices and were silenced. Right Honorable Speaker, the silence, the insistence of the Electoral Commission of Ghana to adopt the Ghana card as the sole document of the registration for the registry were yet to be issued, authority cannot escape mention. After eventually yielding to the resistance from the gallant NDC Minority Caucus, the Electoral Commission decided to conduct voter registration exercise solely at its district offices instead of the designated polling stations. But for our voices, Mr. Speaker, that were heard loud on these matters, the Electoral Commission would have succeeded in denying millions of Ghanaians their right to register and vote. The Electoral Commission was once again forced to beat a retreat on indelible ink during the 2024 general elections. In all of these instances, our vigilance, insistence, and accountability saved Ghana's democracy. Right Honorable Speaker, the past 8 years have been tough for all of us. A lesson on how not to govern a country, and in fact, a lesson on how not to run an economy. In the end, the crushing defeat the NPP suffered in the just ended elections is a clear message from Ghanaians that they will not tolerate any such level. Mr. Speaker, it is deeply concerning that those who oversaw such disastrous performance in government would have the audacity to adorn themselves with accolades to the chagrin of the people of Ghana. Right Honorable Speaker, I was surprised to see some of them being awarded. My stance against the government mismanagement. Mr. Speaker, my recent prosecution, or call it persecution, by the Attorney General over frivolous and trumped-up charges was calculated to silence, intimidate, and completely extinguish a known dissenting voice. Right Honorable Speaker, my cradles on an economy that was being mismanaged and ruined by an act and omissions of a select few in government. The fact that my prosecution began in the wake of the tussle over e-levy should not be lost on anyone. That I became an instant target for the regime. Mr. Speaker, a 2022 budget. Right Honorable Speaker, from that point, the Attorney General and the minister responsible for justice, Godfred Yabuadame, in whom the prosecutorial powers of the state is vested, was determined to deploy all crude tactics, including the use of subpoena. The whole world witnessed how a supposed minister and coerce another accused person standing trial together with me to falsify his testimony and skew it in such a manner as to enable him to procure a conviction at all costs against an innocent person. In the process, Mr. Speaker, Godfred Yabuadame, who is the principal accused person, fabrication of evidence to pervert the course of justice and professional misconduct, contrary to the ethics of the very legal profession he heads. I believe this has been the story for many Ghanaians, less a person than the attorney. Whilst our democracy is founded on the rule of law and holding public officers accountable, I pray that never again should any of our citizens become a victim of this level of injustice and abuse of prosecutorial powers that I was subjected to. Right Honorable Speaker, despite the painful experience, I count it as part of the hazards of politics and service to the people of Ghana. So, Speaker, at the clock, as the clock strikes midnight, it's returning to the colleagues who will not be part of the 9th Parliament. I urge you to walk with your heads high. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to say that Ghana appreciates your service and your contributions. Be proud because you have worked for Mother Ghana. I look forward to the 9th Parliament, characterized by a mutual cooperation of our people. At this juncture, Mr. Speaker, let me thank the gallant 137 members of the NDC caucus on behalf of the NDC leadership. Special thanks goes to Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibwa, the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, the First Deputy Whip, Honorable Comfort Doyo, the Second Deputy Whip, chairpersons and ranking members from the NDC caucus, the Speaker, the backbench of the NDC, Honorable elections since 1992, for his hard work and dedication to democracy. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, aside our disagreements, there were moments of cooperation across the aisle. I want to use this opportunity to thank all members of the 8th Parliament. To the Parliamentary Press Corps, what could we have done without you? You have been an amazing group of people that we cannot stop but to thank you. Thank you once again. Fellow countrymen and women, thank you for enduring the worst government in Ghana's history. So, Speaker, I dare say that to fellow Ghanaians, don't be despaired. There is hope. God bless Avoka, the former leader of this house, who has been one person that I've always resorted to for advice. I thank you so much for your cooperation and hard work. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to give these closing remarks, putting out my own views about this house as it comes to an end by midnight of today. It's a moment of emotion for me, having had the opportunity to lead the House a little over 9 months, and the fact that, Mr. Speaker, seated to the left of Mr. Speaker, leading the charge for and on behalf of the minority. Mr. Speaker, you rightly paraphrased your description of this 8th Parliament on various platforms and fora, and stated that it's been remarkable, characterized by unique. The Speaker, one defining feature of this Parliament was its near equal composition. 137 members from each side, and one independent member. Notably, this Parliament elected the Speaker of the House from a party of the opposition, something which was and still continues to be novel development to our democracy. We also had an 14.1 in Parliament ever recorded in our Fourth Republic. This Parliament, at both sides of the House, has had the course to change their leadership in order to give opportunity to some members to serve in the front bench. It is therefore right to conclude that the 8th Parliament and tested how far we can go with our practice of parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, I rose from deputy leader to majority leader. In my days as a deputy leader in this house, I received a lot of good counsel, not only from our side, but from my friends opposite. I remember the quiet moments where they would call me and thank them for the purpose of Hansard. Honorable Harun Idris, Honorable Rashid Pelpo, Honorable Cletus Avoka, my respected senior at the bar and brother, Honorable Ahiafo. Mr. Speaker, I also received good counsel from many of my own side. The first Deputy Speaker, Honorable Joe Sewusu, not the least, for the purpose of Hansard once again, Mr. Speaker, this is a man who took it upon himself to get me to pay attention to parliamentary business. I always remember with nostalgia his first official travel with me all the way to Hanoi, Vietnam. In his hand was his standing orders and the Constitution. He urged upon me to always read the standing orders and encouraged me to aspire for the leadership of the House. I am happy to say that in my days as his deputy, although he is not a lawyer, he was well versed with the standing orders and the Constitution. Before I could say a word, he knows where a particular find my leadership. You played a key role. We may have our differences, but I want to say that you have made it possible for me to stand on my feet today, especially as I enter opposition and to lead outside in minority. It is that which I learned from you that I will depend on to make a headway in my leadership. Mr. Speaker, also with me a moment of difficulty. I should thank also, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues in leadership, Honorable Anodon Pred, the Chief Whip, a workaholic being. Mr. Speaker, there were a number of times he had to sleep in Parliament to organize and make things work for me to take over as a leader. He and his deputies worked tirelessly. I say God bless you. I'm thankful to you for all you did. And my able deputy, she was more than a mother to me, to calm me in difficult moments. Her wise counsel has made it possible for me to lead the House till this day. We are both Catholics. She never ceased to remind me of the power of our honor. Let's pray. Madam Patricia Apieje, God bless you for all you did. And to my colleagues opposite, you made the best come out of me. I was always watching the videos of Honorable Eric Opoku. This is a man who can punch extremely hard with facts. You dare not challenge him, and I dare not challenge him, because and when you assume leader for a good way forward, you often disappointed me. But you got the best out of me. Kwame, thank you. And Ahmed Ibrahim, the deputy whip, he did all the dirty jobs. We disagreed. And I will call Ahmed and say, Ahmed, I thought you were a Pentecost elder. It's true. I also got somebody amongst them to pound small. I also took advantage of his emotions and I provoked him lightly so that I also settle scores. My senior brother, Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua. Mr. Speaker, I recall at one point you had to settle the matter where I would constantly parading and flagging my standing orders. And he felt it. At the end of the day, that was the beauty of democracy. And I told my brother, no more ARTO. Mr. Speaker, ARTO will talk to you nicely. Have a good conversation. conversation. By 5 o'clock, the political committee says we can't support you. The Speaker, many did not understand why I was combative on a number of occasions. There were those who didn't know how the heat was on me and were saying that you are majority leader, reach out. Mr. Speaker, the minority were such a tough, stubborn, difficult side. Number of government for political expediency and the support from my respected colleague. Many were the disappointment, Mr. Speaker. I'm sad that as a House, we could not deal with the following. One, the 1D1F. Mr. Speaker, I'm still of the conviction, Speaker, being from the private sector fraternity, there as a giveaway, as a freebie, especially so when the majority side had compromised and agreed to take away the raw materials component of our colleagues could not support, not even to allow us to take some of the companies out and proceed to approve them. Mr. Speaker, the nomination of justices for the Supreme Court, which as a House, we vetted them but could not pass them, is also one disappointment to me as a leader. These are citizens of our country. I will not mean these were citizens of substance who could have contributed their quota in enriching the jurisprudence of our country at the highest level. But again, we could not reach an agreement. And to date, I have to look in my direction. Look in my direction. I'm addressing some of your mischief. Mr. Speaker, again, we could not have a deal. And we've left it hanging. It has become odious. Mr. Speaker, World Bank $250 million facility to support the financial sector that have gone through the committee process, and the House would have carried it for government to cushion the financial sector. But again, for good reasons known to my friends opposite me. Mr. Speaker, the Frenchman will say, c'est la vie. This is life. We cannot push anymore. The new government fits to the fire. Get them to be accountable. Get them to do what is right and not get personal, but rather enrich governance of has achieved so much for the people of Ghana, but not a perfect government. Many whose parents could not afford secondary education had the opportunity of enjoying free SHS. Mr. Speaker, Today, Ghanaians, 5.7 million of them have benefited from free SHS. Mr. Speaker, not only did we have 5.7 million Ghanaian children benefiting from free SHS, we also had government introducing free TVET. Certain technical education was made free, and government built 34 new schools and introduced the STEM program. Speaker, this initiated the ambitious Agenda 111. These projects are at various stages of completion, and we expect that from tomorrow, the new government will take immediate steps to get better health care. No less than 14,000 kilometers to our existing road infrastructure. And, Mr. Speaker, we expect that this new government, which takes office tomorrow, would be minded of these high acts in the area of energy. There were some corruption in certain areas. But, Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that we kept the lights on, and this government ensured that electricity for households and industry was on. Minimal challenges in terms of light off as compared to what our friends left for us in 2017. Mr. Speaker, in the just ended election, the president, the vice president ensured that they put together a team. You are out of order. To assist the Electoral Commission in ensuring that we had a peaceful Neil and Van der Poel will put on his mic. Mr. Speaker, he has to stop this aspect of their intolerance. I just spoke, even getting personal, but they can never take it. Mr. Speaker, I don't understand. I just spoke, he even went personal. We kept quiet and listened to him. You are on your feet, on in your mic. Well, this is your nature. Mr. Speaker, declaration by the EC, orchestrated by the leadership of the NDC, who sent tax to collation centers, attacking electoral commission officials, attacking candidates, unleashing violence, and threatening our democracy. Subject the NDC to posterity. I say to them that the very people they are using to unleash violence on Ghanaian people to posterity are moved in pickups to disrupt the coalition process. Mr. Speaker, whereas the MPP accepted the results and even relied on due process of law to get justice, the NDC decided to unleash violence on the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic, his name, not surprising, that the ECOWAS recognized him and gave him a title, Mr. Democrat. Mr. Democrat for the good works he's done for democracy, for over 40 years in public service. He distinguished himself, and Mr. Speaker, the 8th Parliament, however, Aswa of Kumewu, Honorable John Ampontua Kuma of Ejiso, as well as some 18 former members of Parliament and a former First Lady, Her Excellency Teresa Kufuor. Mr. Speaker, all these persons who were in public service passed on within their period, and I say, may their souls rest in such witness in some few instances. My honorable colleagues in leadership and I worked so hard in ensuring that the business was conducted in a convivial and congenial atmosphere. This Parliament achieved notable legislative milestone, passing 41 bills. We facilitated. Furthermore, the 8th Parliament approved the nomination of His Lordship Justice Eni Yewa for appointment to the high office of Chief Justice of the Republic, and after his retirement, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Sakitokonu took over. And approved 9 justices of the Supreme Court and 2 Chief Justice during its term. And this strengthened public engagement and participatory democracy. Parliament also celebrated the 30th anniversary of parliamentary democracy and hosted international conferences such as the 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference and ECOWAS parliamentary sessions, which took place in my constituency, Efutu. These events reinforce Ghana's commitment to democratic principles and regional cooperation. This is an outstanding great achievement, strengthening the pillars of Parliament. We, in the majority, have some few challenges in the manner you handled the House. There were times that we felt you were partisan, and there were times that we felt you could prevail on our colleagues better in cooperating with us. There were times that we felt perfect and cannot presiding over the 9 parliaments and well placed in the east of this august house, we pray that the space you gave to the minority to allow the opposition to vent out its concerns, we will have, you will do that for us. Mr. Speaker, let me also thank the parliamentary service staff. What would life be without them? What would life be for the MP of this parliament, the member of parliament of this 8th parliament? What would life be without them? It's better in our staff. On behalf of the members,
Second Deputy Speaker to take the chair. This one. I'm on the board.
of this august house, I say a big thank you for your service and all you've done to help us become better than we thought. Mr. Speaker, somewhere last week, personal. Don't take it personal. This is politics. I therefore would want to respond to my respected colleague, Dr. Casey Latte-Force, by telling him that he should not take it personal. I know how it is. But if everybody is given the opportunity to tell a story, maybe you realize that others might have gone through worse situations. I do not think that it is appropriate to personalize issues and mention Honorable Godfred Jebu-Adami by name. What some seniors on our side know. You know what some seniors on your side know. That everybody wish you well. So, it isn't the case that this government was such a bad government that they wanted you in jail at all costs. So please let this slide. But I'm particularly happy that you sounded a word of caution that never again should such a thing happen. Nobody should ever fear leaving government. Nobody should ever fear getting into government. If as a political class we mistreat ourselves, there will be nothing left for the governance of this country. I therefore would want to add my voice to the call you made, Honorable Forson, that we should have a better way of dealing to take effect. It is on this note condemn in no uncertain terms the establishment of a so-called committee called ORA. I hold the humble view that it is a needless committee. It has no constitutional backing, and this committee is only in for personal vendetta. If we allow this committee, institutions of state, however unhappy we may have to be with their work, we must support them to do their work. We don't want people to be chasing people into people's houses, going into people's bedrooms, thinking that their government is in office, so they should chase people for so-called ill-gotten wealth from tomorrow. This is what you can't take it. I've too spoke. Then you've been putting off my mic, disrupting me. I will speak. Yes, it will be longer than this. Mr. Speaker, it is due process of law that makes a nation strong. I regret that members of this hallowed chamber are advocates of this institutional so-called body called ORA. Mr. Speaker, let me remind my colleagues that to use unconstitutional means to shut us up, to frustrate people, to chase people into their homes, will stand firm and collective in ensuring that we stop any injustice. Let us allow the laws of the country to work. Mr. Speaker, in 1996, the elections did work.
Yes, leader. Hold on. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you and welcome back. Mr. Speaker, the MPP incoming minority will not allow the NDC government to use illegal government. Our mantra is touch one, touch all. We will encourage the NDC majority to be guided by promise to the people of Ghana and rather use its limited time in office, the 4 years, to bring development polished. The people of expecting that cocoa prices for the farmer will be increased without delay. The Ghanaian people are expecting that taxes at only 60 ministers will get appointed into this new government. And the 60 ministers, Mr. Speaker, these are the breakdown. All 16 regions will have one. So if you have 16, you take 16 out, you are left with 44. Of the 44, ASK Bagbin, as he then was, as minority leader at this very despite box, said soon and very soon, the MPP will soon see him and know him when he was seconding the motion for. Yeah, so you relax, but you would hear me. We heard at all, you would hear me. Mr. Speaker, now if you take away 16 ministers from the 60, the original minister, you are left with 44. Opinion. The 44. Mr. Speaker, there is going in this house. And very soon, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader would experience the moment that, Mr. Speaker, you refer to as majority leader. Look behind you, your back is empty. Very soon, your members, Speaker, Prophet Nehemiah, by this thing I can foresee that is going to happen. Mr. Speaker, even the MPs who will not get other non-MPs who are looking for board appointments, or you won't even get board appointments. You won't get it.
Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker,
we are talking if
hey, Mr. Speaker,
closing remarks of the eighth
Mr.
Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I told force
We are talking
Mr.
about
Speaker, I told that today is a ceremonial day. I prepared to keep quiet. No, you won't get. I'm in this fight box. You see, you guys cannot take it. We start allow you to point at. Guys even come to your rescue. I'm not done. I won't finish now. Sit down. You are the poor against you. Some of you didn't want him to come again. Mr. Speaker, it is true. And if they dare me, I'll mention it. Yes, some of you. It took our prayer to get Mr. Speaker back. Some of you wanted to set a coup against him. Challenge me. Take a Bible or Quran and use it to defend yourself and lesson. Yes. I shall conclude by wishing all of us well. For those of you who are getting out of Parliament, please, the younger ones, please, all your experience I will plead with you to make yourselves available. Mr. Speaker, to all colleagues one more time, I know that
Baina TV, connected to your world.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ejidiyefo metumu nyina salama. Let the Bible and Quran Speak organization eni Baina TV ena yede adesua eka nipa akoma adesua nso a eboro adwene ntiase so. Na saa adesua yi Bible eni Quran kyerɛkyerɛ yi ebrewo ewo Baina TV. Nyadade na me nso menya mmere na yensia konwa na yendosukɔ ewo Bible eni Quran mu. Na enkyerɛkyerɛ no yɛatodi sɛ ɔsom enkyerɛkyerɛ ɛwɔ Baina TV na ɛbɛyɛ mfasoɔ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ dankwa ma temu ada nkɔka bregufoɔ nti edu saa mmere no a si akongwa na mesi akongwa na me no yɛfa saa desua yi ɛfa mboa yɛn ɔsom enkyerɛkyerɛ yɛfrɛ me Sheikh Ilyas Abdurrahman
Ɔsom nkyerɛkyerɛ, this and every Saturday at 8 p.m. only on Baina TV.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Islam, the do's and the don'ts of the Sharia, and many others. Make a day